Shalom, welcome to Challenging Torah. Our Challenging Torah this week is Tetze. When you go off to war, it begins as follows. When you go forth to war against your enemies, and the Lord your God has delivered them into your hands, and you have taken a beautiful captive, and shall see among the captives a beautiful woman and desire her, that you should have her as your wife, you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head, pare her nails, and mourn her parents for a month. Then you shall see whether you shall go into her and make her your wife. In other words, not so fast. Step back. How's this going to work for your household? Do you really want her that badly, or is it just in the heat of battle? This is the Yetzer, the inclination that we call the evil inclination, Yetzer Hara, and the evil inclination is a part of life. Without the evil inclination, we're told in the Talmud, there'd be no babies, chickens wouldn't hatch, eggs, the world would cease to exist. But in this case, hot from battle, she's delicious looking. Don't go there. Don't even touch her. Bring her home, see what it's going to mean, take a breath, and if you really desire her, then you have to marry her. How do you control your own Yetzer Hara? All of us have that portion. Usually it's 50-50 that says, well, I've started eating the chocolate cake. One more little piece isn't going to matter. I've had 3 drinks. What's wrong with the 4th? I can drive home. I actually really know what I'm doing. That is the Yetzer Hara speaking in a loud and clear voice. God looks at the world at the time of Noah, and before everyone is destroyed by the flood, God says they are evil. The word, interestingly enough, is Hamas. They are evil in their being. I'm destroying them, and I'm going to start over. Starting over, God decides, eventually I will have a people that I can make a covenant with. That covenant is about how you deal with Yetzer Hara, with your evil inclination. And so this Torah portion, as Moses is telling the laws, focuses on a variety of laws that all come down to what's your inclination and how can we regulate that. First it comes to, interestingly enough, parenting. And we get the following. If there is a rebellious son among you who hasn't had a kid, who's a giant pain in the butt, right? If we've had a rebellious son, but it can't be a 4-year-old, this is someone who is a drunken glutton, a drunkard and a glutton. So we know it's a teenager. Both parents, mother and father, have to agree that this child is beyond any reasoning. They take him to the village elders at the gate. And if all else fails, they can stone him to remove, quote, evil from your midst. It said it was never done. This is one of those cautionary tales that keeps teenagers from going off the deep end. But the tale is there. How do we sweep evil from our midst? And so God details very specific laws. You shall not remain indifferent, the line says. You see your neighbor's ox fallen by the side of the road. You're not supposed to keep driving. You are to stop. You are to help, even if it's your enemy. You see your fellow human being in serious financial trouble. You are to loan, if it's one of your kinsmen, without interest. If it's you shall not lend upon interest to your brother, interest of money, it says, interest of foodstuff, interest of anything that is lent upon interest. You are just supposed to help. Well, what about my employees? Very, very wise for this time. The covenant says, you shall not oppress a hired servant who is poor and needy, whether he is of your brothers or of strangers who are in your land, inside of your gates. At this day you give him your hire, the sun shall not go down upon it, for he is poor, and he sets his heart on it, lest he cry out against you to the Lord, and it should be a sin to you. But you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and God redeemed you. He needs the money. He needs the money today, not next week when it's convenient for you, or don't hire him. Think about that. The next time you forget to leave the money for the person who came to clean your house. And then distributive justice. There needs to be enough for everyone to eat. And one of the ways that that's taken care of is, quote, when you cut down your harvest in your field and have forgotten a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back again and fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, the orphan, and the widow, that God may bless you in all your work. And your corners of the field and your olive trees you are to leave for those who are needy. Not remain indifferent. Thus you will sweep out the Yetzer Hara, which is, I want to take it all home. All of it. Can I go through there again with another good machine? Evil, however, comes in various shapes and sizes. This week, this month, watching beheadings in the 21st century, we began to see there's evil, and then there's really evil. The Yetzer Hara we can't live without. It's that capacity to grow and expand ourselves, and we need to keep it in check. But pure evil exists in this Torah portion. And God reminds us at the end of the portion. Remember what Amalek did to you on the way when you came forth from Egypt. Therefore, I, the Lord God, tell you that you must blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. You shall not forget it. How do you blot out and not forget at the same time? We think about the Holocaust and we realize we need to blot it out of our memories and not let it dominate us, and we need never to forget. So that suddenly, when we see a video this week of a young Jewish man about to be beheaded, the second one in a row, just by the forces of evil, we need to make sure that that kind of evil is blotted out of our world. Don't forget it. Join us for a further conversation on Shabbat morning. Shabbat Shalom.